Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? It is the King Hitman, and I want to, we have a handful of Carnival LRs now, right? We got 6 in total, last being Omega Shenron, who came out a couple weeks ago on JP. At the time of this recording, I don't really want to timestamp it, but I guess it only makes sense. At the time of this recording, Tech Super Trunks had just been, he's literally about to release on JP. He got his data download a night before, so I guess this is a good perspective for where the game is at. I want to go over and rank each Carnival LR. You guys have never seen a tier list like this. You guys are going to like this. Well, I hope you're going to like this one. You'll let me know based on your reactions, right? But the 6 Carnival LRs, not just who I think is best to worst, but rank by rank, level by level, kit by kit, piece by piece. So starting off with the leader skill, we're going to tier list the leader skill. Then we're going to tier list the super attack effect, the passive skills, the active skills, the link skills, the categories. We're going to go piece by piece for every one of them, how I think they fit. This is individual, all right? So it's based on, let's say for the passive skill, matter of fact, let's say the link skill, I might say one unit has a better link set than another unit. That doesn't mean I think they're better. It's just based on the state of the game, based on how easy it is to activate their links, based on the categories and how often they can get those type of links, if that makes sense. But just because I say Carnival Goku has better super attack effects than like LR Int Gohan, which we're gonna get there, believe me, that doesn't mean I think he's better than Gohan. We're going bit by bit. We're compartmentalizing, all right? So I think this is going to be fun. So for part 1, let's get into it. For part 1 being the unit's leader skill, the first section, this is the tier list I have set up. I think Carnival Goku, we're going to say that a lot today. AGL Goku, AGL Kai Goku has the best leader skill by far. If you go by their leader skills, Turtle School is just, it's every single Goku, plus Krillin's, plus Yamcha's. Like, what are you really talking to me about? Like, what can I can't refute that this is by far the best leader skill. It's only ever gonna get better. It's constantly getting easy A's every celebration or two. It's constantly gonna get new units. It's always gonna get Dokkan Fest and LRs, so you can't help that, all right? It's just by far number 1. And then if you work your way down, look at me spoiling already. If you work your way down the list, Gohan, Bond of Master and Disciple, this was a massive one. I was actually gonna tier, you guys might not, this is gonna be controversial no matter what. I'm not here to say like, oh, I apologize if you disagree, or like, I'm always trying to be open-minded. Listen, I know how I feel about this game right now, and this took me a long time to set up, all right? Look how many tiers I already have. You see all the tabs. I put a lot of thought into this. Now, if you disagree, I'm always open to discussion. I don't feel bad for my opinion, though. So with that being said, I put Gohan at the S rank, right? The 2 rank. I really just like going A, B, C, D, E. And we'll get to why he's in that tier. But you get my mindset. The reason I put Gohan is the second best rank is because I think AGL Gohan, along with Carnival Gohan, and then this was the massive factor, Tech Super Trunks. I know I told you guys this is exactly when I'm recording the video. So units like him, and he does have the Cell Saga-esque units, such as like Physical Piccolo, such as that Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, such as STR Goku Gohan, STR Piccolo. The new banner unit Gohan is terrible, right? The biggest unit that's on this team, but you can't take advantage of him, would be STR Kaioken Blue Goku, because he doesn't have the Tournament of Power help that he wants so badly. But really, one celebration might fix it. Like, it depends on what they do for that Tournament of Power setup, but one celebration might fix that. Like I said, STR Banner Unit Piccolo is here. Tech Power Awakening Piccolo is here. Vegeta and Trunks are still very, very good. Physical Beerus is easy, along with STR Beerus and Whis. You guys, Physical Ultimate Gohan gets a lot of flack, right? You guys should be able to understand why I would have him at the second best rank in terms of the leader skills. I keep clicking the wrong tab. You guys get what my mindset is. For these guys, my mind, I didn't like the idea of separating them. All right, so for the first Carnival leader skill, the 3 key 200%, which was Tech Goku, I was in a space where I'm like, damn, it does have a lot of elite LRs on it, and it does have a couple good TURs. I do not like the TUR section of this category. It's very thin. I'd say Bardock is by far the best support unit on your team, and Bardock can literally get you killed. So you see Tech War Tournament Goku, you see AGL Gogeta, you see like Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and things like that, and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. But with the LRs and how many LRs you'd have to run on the team for this to be efficient, you're running a lot of units that don't share perfect links, such as, like, let's say you run Piccolo these 8 years, you run you gotta run, I'm assuming you run 2 of each unit, right? 2 of each Carnival LR, that is 2 of the unit that we're referring to. You gotta run 2 of the powerful comeback Carnival Goku. It gets real frustrating. AGL MUI, people still defend him. I know, Mo Dodge, man, I get it. He pisses me off. You can't really fit Omega on this team correctly. He's not going to be able to take advantage of anything. So he's like a non-factor here. You could run Cooler here, but I don't really want to. I don't have some sort of... like, Cooler's not a staple on that team, right? So that's how I feel about this. I keep clicking the second tab. I am spoiling my list. Then you got Battle of Wits. Battle of Wits, I feel like, has a better average of good TURs. And then you look at the LRs, you still got decent options. You got, of course, Vegito Blues EZA is monster. Still got Power Awakening Piccolo. He's on so many good categories. He's in a very good place in this game. You got him, of course, as lead. Remember, he's giving 2 key 50%. I tried to do the path, right, when I was breaking this down, of not worrying about how well they function with the team, just worrying about what the category roster is. But this guy, he literally gives 2 key 50% attack. Like, you don't, that's for everybody that's super class. So you're not going to be in a position where you can't activate that. It's going to be up. So that compensates for some of the lost links. That compensates for the lost defense that you might have from not having units that share, I don't know, what, all in the family or something, right? Like, I'm throwing spitballs out there. You got these guys on there. They won't be at their best, I don't think, but to each their own. Like, you know, you might have to worry about orbs here and there. This is why I said the TUR roster, it does have more options on it as compared to Powerful Comeback. It has MVP 17. It also has Physical Piccolo on here. You got the STR banner unit Piccolo. You got STR Krillin, who he's not really... It's more for his defense than his support, right? Like, you're not bringing that guy for his support. You got the free-to-play Jackie Chun, who's actually he's a really good free-to-play unit. I like that Jackie Chun a lot. I've been messing around with him a little bit. You got the Vegitos on here. They're constant. People love PyCon. People love AGL PyCon to death. So if you're a PyCon fanatic, you got STR free-to-play Vegito Blue. You have the options along with Jackie Chun. You can figure out ways to run this team just as much as you can with the Power Awakening. Now, with that being said, I already ranked Turtle School, Bond, Master, and Disciple. Let's skip down to Wicked Bloodline. Wicked Bloodline here, I find it to be a very good team. I beat all types of content with this team. I do not fail with this team very often. If I do, I run it back and I usually win. Like, straight up. Sounds arrogant. That's really how I approach this. Cooler team is really... Whether you're running STR Cooler as a lead or Physical Cooler as your lead for the family, it just depends on what typings you're expecting to face. But like I said, this is from the idea of running 2 of Metal Cooler. Metal Cooler himself might be a problem, but this team, the roster is thin, but it fits together so well. They're all going to share anywhere between 3 to 6 slings. So, you know, you got your constant big bad bosses, your Thirst for Conquest, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, you know, things like that are just always going to be important for when you're running this team. Cooler, when he came out, I think Cooler's leader skill was so needed for the game. I feel the same way about Omega Shenron. It's the type of unit where any other leader skill probably would have pissed me off. It probably would have made me mad. But yeah, links like Strongest Clan in Space, Big Bad Bosses, they're just too important. And a lot of this team, you know, the Golden Freezes don't have it, but a lot of this team has those links, so you get to take advantage of that. And the Golden Freezes themselves are just phenomenal tanks that are damn near timeless. Like, it's hard for them to age out completely from this team. It's going to be very hard to push them off. And then you got units like STR Cooler, who, and I'm talking about the TUR, the EZA. He might not be in everybody's favor anymore, but I think he can still help you on a lot of difficult content, especially if he gets to stack early. I know that's a big if in a lot of content nowadays, but I think it's a fair thing to say that. You get what I'm coming from. And then you got Omega Shenron. Listen, another example, like I said, a unit that he had to be the leader of this team. Like, he didn't have a choice. That doesn't mean this team is good. This team is so bad, bro. Look at the few options we have. This Nova, if he was a decent, extreme class unit, it might have made sense for us to say, maybe he helps out a little bit here or there, but he gives that stupid Shadow Dragon buff to super class Shadow Dragon units. He doesn't fit with them. He's never had a place in the game. He pisses me off. Texan Shenron is Omega's best partner because they don't share the same name. You can't, what are you really gonna, like, if he gets super attacked, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. I think he's a fun unit to mess around with. He activates the links. They are phenomenal linking partners. Tech Nova and Ice being the worst banner unit of the last couple of, I'm so close to saying ever with like complete arrogance and solidarity. Them being one of the worst banner units ever released is crippling. It's crippling. Then you got this tech adult baby who's good, but he's only like really good as a banner unit against the Saiyan type enemies. Ocean and Shenron can reach 400 or 500k defense. Of course, you get super attacked, you died. I don't have to tell you about the rest of this team. You understand what my complaints are. So hopefully if we get like a, I'm so tired of saying hopefully, but hopefully if we get this baby Dokkan Fest, we can fix a lot of those issues. That's all I've got for when it comes to the leader skill portion of these units. Now, on to part 2, as I'm sure you guys saw multiple times by my terrible misclicking. We are now onto their super attack effects. I actually think Omega's super attack effects are perfect. Like they're super battle road, difficult content, whatever it might be. They're literally perfect. I can't complain about the fact that he greatly raises defense and then can normally raise defense. I don't want to base this on the unit's peak, but more about how much it affects their ability to beat content, obviously, right? But more about how it helps their passive, or maybe thinking about them when they're at towards what's basically their peak. So for Omega, you already got the revive off. Now you're double supering in one turn. After Omega has, assuming he only does the 2 guaranteed supers, he will greatly raise his defense for the turn, Mega Colossal, lower attack and defense, seal, super again, raise defense again, Colossal, lower attack again, with a high chance of stunning the enemy. In SBR, in Red Zone, it doesn't matter. Omega, Battlefield, anything, Omega will be able to take advantage of the fact that you have these abilities. That's perfect for villains. That's perfect for anybody, but that's perfect for any villain unit in the game. I can't think of too many villain units that maybe STR Cooler because of his stacking attack. I mean, I'm not asking Omega to stack attack. He doesn't hit hard, right? It's Omega, so I don't have complaints. I think it fits him very well, what he wants to do, which is play defense very well. For Gohan and Goku, I had them on the same tier at one point, and then I said, you know what? I changed my mind on that. The reason I changed my mind is because I feel as though Gohan and Goku, they're pretty much interchangeable, and then you factor in the fact that Gohan does have an AoE. So once again, Super Battle Road settings, I wouldn't say use them in World Tournament, but if you want to, I guess it's up to you, bro. You're not going to be moving too fast. But Super Battle Road, maybe Red Zone enemies where the first couple of phases you got to fight multiple people, or maybe later on you fight multiple enemies like the Gammas, right? Their Red Zone stage is built like that. You get it. So that was big enough for me to say, you know what, I do have to put Gohan over Goku in terms of how his super attack effect can alter a battle. For Goku, it's simple, straightforward. You know what he's doing. He's raising his defense, he's raising his attack, the Mega Colossal, the Colossal, you guys know the classic. His raising attack and defense again for the turn is definitely important. The stacking defense is nice, but then doing it again for that one turn is when you're really starting to feel confident in whatever his defensive level might be. I mean, this guy can be at like 700-800k defense off of a couple of stacks, and of course his extra buffs being active. He can do that. And 900k, maybe a million. I don't know if a million is pushing it with him. You'd have to be cheesing his 18 key, but he's most certainly capable of doing it in the middle of, like, let's say turn 6, 7, or 8. He can do things like that with the support being up, whatever, man. He's very good for things like that. Now, when you talk about Cooler and Goku, I had Cooler above Goku, and I was looking at it and I'm like, low key, does it really matter? They both raise defense for the one turn. The reason I had Cooler ahead is because his 12 key greatly lowers attack, which is still, even I know you can't do it against difficult content, most difficult content. I understand that. but there are certain enemies who you can do it against, such as like Nova Shenron, Natron Shenron. Like, these things are there. They're just not common because it's too easy if you can debuff the enemy. So I get it. I completely get it. Him and Goku are level. Like, Goku, the reason I put Goku back up one is because he does raise attack and defense on both super attacks, but he gives a super class ally buff, which you want him around super class units anyway because of his support ability. That's really enough. Like, I'm not gonna stress over it. It's not like a huge deal to me. And then for Carnival Tech Goku, he just raises defense. Like, I know raising attack is nice. I'm sure you guys love that mechanic more than anything. He only does it for the one turn. If he was stacking over and over again, which would make his active skill hit harder, which is another reason I put Gohan and Goku high, because it makes their active skills hit significantly harder, which, like, they can hit very hard, but we'll get to the active skills later on. Goku is a simple enough unit. He does his thing. His role is playing defense, but I feel like it wasn't enough to warrant. You know what? Maybe I'm being a bit cruel. I guess you could warrant putting him in C, but I had him in D for obvious, like, I feel like are fairly obvious reasons, but I'll be polite and I'll move him up to C class. Now here we are. This is where it starts to get, like, if it wasn't controversial or you guys didn't have anything to really heavily disagree on before, we've gotten here. We're at the passive skill section. This is just essentially me telling you which unit I think is the best in a way. Like, this is not my final list, but it's as close as you could get, right? If you wanted the biggest indicator. Goku, elite. Like, I cannot complain about Goku at all. He's so good. Defense is so good. He hits hard. I'm telling you, Goku's offense is actually really underrated. I think a lot of people, now that he's hit global, are getting it, but his offense has been underrated for a while. He can do amazing things off of his stacking. He can do amazing things off of his guarding. I can't complain about what he does. Remember, now that it has been changed, this is big, this is massive, this is huge. The fact that they have changed the nullifying into a true counter, or excuse me, his counter into a true nullify, that allows him to counterattack any type of ki blast and any type of content, even if that enemy cancels dodge. That's a big change for him, so that will help you get out of certain pinches depending on what the situation is. Remember, Goku heals 59% HP if your HP is below 40%. That's huge. Now, he only does it once, but that is that's a support item. I don't care what anybody says. That's a support item. The attack 120% he gets after he's been hit 9 times. You do want Goku in slot 1 for most of the fight. I wouldn't say it's the biggest deal. Like, that's when he really starts to show that attack stat I was referring to earlier, which people underrate. But I wouldn't say that's not his job. You know, like, the fact that he hits so hard is more icing on the cake than anything else. Gohan, excellent defensively. His 18 key effect, where he will lower the attack or the damage done by 30% by whatever enemy he does that 18 key super attack to, is a very big factor in why I felt like he's closer to Goku than people think, but he's definitely above the rest of the Carnival LRs in terms of this passive skill section that we're doing now. The 4 key attack defense 58% allows him to have his start of battle defense, allows him to have, you know, sufficient key. He definitely needs to build up that extra key, along with the fact that he gives himself another 4. Then you just constantly are reeling off what is supposed to be like 22, 23, 24 key turns where this guy's going monster. He's weird. He doesn't know whether he wants to be in slot 1 or slot 2, but he does want to make sure he's doing attacks. He wants to make sure he's getting hit. It's a weird balance, all right? You got to figure it out because he wants more defense. Look at the 5 key build up along with the 8% defense up to 58% for those that aren't too familiar with it. I would assume if you're watching the video, I can talk to you like you're me because you know what's going on. But yeah, Gohan, I feel like it was fair to put him here. The additional super he does after getting hit 8 times is going to be difficult. That's what separates him from Goku for me. That's going to be difficult for you to get because, like I said, some battles he wants to be in slot 1, and some battles, a lot of that time he's going to be in slot 2. And if he's really doing work, you shouldn't, it's not common or consistent. I'll be polite and say consistent, right? Like what's the positive connotation words? It is not consistent for you to always get these attacks taken for Gohan. He'll be able to tank them very well, but the volume might not be there until very late in the fight. So I felt like that was a fair place to place him at. Omega, such a great defender, terrible offense. I don't care what, I'm tired of arguing about it. If he's been out for what, over a week now on JP, or somewhere close to a week now. We know that his offense is not impressive. I don't care what you say. Even when he gets that revival off, his offense is tolerable. Like, it's good. I mean, I won't say tolerable. I'll say it's like good. But before that, his offense is pitiful. His constant 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's building attack sets over and over again. You don't know when he's going to be doing that additional super and when he's not until he revives. That really pisses me off because at his peak, he might do like 14 or 16 million. That's not impressive, bro. I know that if he's not critting or he's not doing that additional and he's not super effective, that's not impressive. I don't know what I gotta spell out for you, but like Gohan and Goten's EZA is wiping the floor with damage like that. STR Cooler wiping the floor. The 2 units above him wiping the floor. 14 million as a blank slate for a unit super attack in 2023, the summer of 2023, is not impressive. I'm being realistic. In the B tier, the reason I have Cooler on the back end, their level, bro, it's interchangeable. That's the literal point of me putting them like this. The reason I have Cooler is because I do feel like Cooler can die. Like, realistically, I use Cooler the most out of all of these units. Cooler can die. Like, it's very possible that Cooler gets you killed. He can revive, but there are times where like Cooler will take a fair amount of damage. I wouldn't say far into a battle. I'd say like maybe the second phase. If he hasn't gotten any defense off, you want to get him hit. But getting him hit can come at the cost of you lose, like, say you take a super attack from Tech Broly's Wrathful form, and he does 380k to Cooler. I'm spitballing a number, but let's say he does stuff like that and Cooler's in slot 1. Cooler will heal most of that back over the course of a couple of turns, but your other units don't even wipe the fact that he took that super attack. Now they have to make sure that they're, a fort, like they're a wall defensively, because Cooler takes damage. Cooler can get you killed. He can revive, but at the end of the day, if his defense, I hate this. It's been stressing me out lately more and more, man, because I think Cooler is overhated, but at the same time, the gripes are legitimate. If Cooler dies and revives with the full HP, you're like, ooh, great. And then he comes back around later in the fight, he's just gonna die again. Like, I'm sorry to tell people that are fellow Metal Cooler fans, he's just gonna die again. So I feel like that made sense. Goku's a defensive unit. I tried not to over criticize his offense, sort of like what I did with Omega, but at the end of the day, his revival is very much a thing where I looked at it and I'm like, damn, he does want to revive so that he can get that extra, like the guaranteed guard and the high chance to crit, those extra effects when his character does the revival skill. Oh, man. His offense isn't impressive, but I'd say at the same time, his defense, if he doesn't have that guard up, you'll die. But he has to have the guard. Like, he has to have his guard revival mechanic trigger, or you're probably going to die later in that fight because of him if he gets super attacked. If he does not have his guard up, Goku is a defensive liability. Also, the first attack he takes earlier in fights before he gets multiple 18 keys off allows him to take a fair amount of damage because, that first attack he takes gives him that extra 59% defense. I get the mechanic. At the time, it wasn't like a huge issue. He was a perfectly okay tank. He gets the key. I wouldn't ever say Goku really struggles for a key. I don't feel comfortable saying that, but he does get the key build up. His link set is so good, you're not really worried about it. But like I said, he doesn't hit, overwhelmingly hard. And then for this Goku right here, his support buff is big. He does get build up based on being hit. It sounds nice, and then you realize how much this guy can actually get clapped if he gets super attack with no build up. Or sometimes, that 10, let's be realistic, bro. 2 key for taking 5 attacks was not enough. They should have given him like 2 key and then another 10% mitigation after you've taken 5 attacks in the battle, or maybe even 3 key for that matter. But he has key. Like, I wouldn't say he doesn't struggle for key for sure. He has a fair amount of key all of the time. His defense can get you killed. You're gonna walk into that turn feeling like he's okay, and then he's gonna get supered, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna be mad. It's gonna catch you off guard. It's happened to me before where I felt confident in his defense post super attack. No, I'm not pulling out my calculator to constantly do his numbers to make sure we're safe on that turn. You're gonna feel like he's safe, and he's gonna die. The 10 attacks he needs to take in order to get that additional 50% attack buff and launch that super attack with it. It's like, I don't want to talk about units actives, but that when conjoined with his active would bump him up a lot. But this is based purely on the passive skill, the wording, how it is supplied in game, how realistic it is to get all of it active to peak this unit out. And I feel like part of it was the reason I kept him in this tier along with those other 2 units. That's really all I've got to say for this section right here. But I hope you guys are enjoying. I mean, listen, it feels like a podcast at this point. This video is going to be insanely long. But you guys, if you are enjoying, I appreciate that so much. Consider dropping a like. If you want me to ever do another video like this, I would happily do another video like this. It's just the support. I gotta feel like people actually enjoyed it, right? I mean, I'm just over here talking. So let me know how you guys feel about that. But I'll leave that. This section, I feel like I've gotten fairly nailed down, but I know this is where a lot of you guys are gonna get to disagreeing, and I completely respect that. Alright, now we have the unit's active skills instead of passives. This is going as if you just trigger it. It's not about how hard it is to get or, you know, the restrictions that are applied to it. It's simply once you trigger it, once the button is available to you, how much does it alter battle? How much does it, what does it do? How hard does it hit? How hard does it help you hit for the rest of the turn? Does it help your allies? What does it do? Things like that. And this is assuming you're towards your peak. You might not be at your peak, but this is like one of the better situations in which you is being optimistic about how that turn will go. So for example, this Goku, even when he crits, his damage isn't massive, and all he really does is break. He doesn't guarantee super effective. He doesn't crit. Like, he doesn't guarantee any of that. Well, he can crit, but doesn't guarantee crit for the turn or anything like that off of his active skill condition alone. So I didn't feel as though it had to be some massive, you know, argument to say that this guy was as low as he was. And then if you come over to Cooler's ability, his healing all throughout, I don't want to, listen, I'm trying to separate passives from actives, but on a realistic level, his ability to heal over the course of the entire battle constantly, and then getting this one-time 30% bump, like that extra bump, just in case you were worried about your HP, can really help you swing battles. It has helped me swing battles. It's not huge, the amount of damage he's doing. Cooler's not an ultra hard hitting unit. If it doesn't crit, it's not going to hit that hard. But then when you get over to Omega, his, like, as soon as you can activate it, it's not going to hit hard. Even when you activate it when it's at its max, it's still not going to hit crazy hard, but it'll do, you know, decent damage if it crits. It does attack break. And, you know, you can I'm trying not to include the condition, but realistically speaking, you can activate it fairly soon in battle if it is possible, or you're going to activate it later on in battle. But if you can activate it soon, the lowering attack and defense is going to help you in stages like Super Battle Road or something like that. Or like I said, like the Shadow Dragons, some sort of enemy that can be debuffed for their attack and defense. I tried to feel as though if you can trigger this is a massive one. I'm actually, you know, now that I'm talking about it, I'm actually thinking about, yeah, let's just bump it up a level. I mean, why not? Because if you can lower the attack and defense along with breaking an enemy action, I have to bump that up a level regardless of how little damage I feel it can do on certain turns. Now if you go over to my boy, the kid, the Gohan becomes super effective against all type, massively raising. Yes, there is a notable difference on most of these units, whether it be massively or greatly raising. In my opinion, I do feel a bit of a power gap when the modifier is different. The ultimate damage to the enemy, and like I said, the super effective against all types, that'll help him just for the rest of the turn. Like, these active skill LRs that guarantee crits, even the 7 years can still hit so insanely hard on any given turn that you get their active off. Not just the active, but the extra attacks they do. Gohan, of course, being a unit that can do both of those things, except it's super effective instead of being guaranteed crit. I feel like things like that matter. So I had to put Gohan where he was at. Goku is a unit. His Spirit Bomb is by far the worst animation out of all of these units, I'd say. But it's at least, it's like 6 seconds, right? At least you can say you get straight to the point. So what he does is he is going to critical hit, and when he critical hits, all attacks become critical hits, right? He's gonna massively raise his attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage, and all attacks will be guaranteed critical hit. Now he does have crit in his passive. So I would say, if anything, Gohan should have been critting also. I don't know why they held back on. They were nervous about Gohan for some reason. There are certain things in there that make me feel like they were a bit nervous about how they wanted to treat Gohan. But yes, when he does trigger that Spirit Bomb, it can do fair damage. It does really good damage because it's a crit. And then, of course, it'll factor back into the additional, the attacks he's doing on those turns, which I just have to say, like, that's part of why I have it ranked so high. It's a lie for me to say that it's not. And then finally, off of the active skill alone, just looking at their active skill and what it does for the team and how it helps the rest of their kit and how it helps them in battle, this Goku, his active skill is actually the best in my opinion, because it massively raises attack, the ultimate damage, the critical hitting, but then he gives all of the rest of the allies another 5 ki to go on top of the buff he already gives. So if you're on a rotation with a whole bunch of LRs, now you can be more flexible about whether, depending on how they're built, how you want to fill your rotation, because now everybody's getting their 18, 20, 24 keys and filling out all of those conditions. But the fact that Goku, when he gets 24 ki, will launch an additional super attack, this makes it so much easy for him to do. But he did the active skill, so now he has the active skill condition, but the 24 ki is like, that's the either or. I'm really speaking from the perspective of he's going to be at max ki, meaning his maximum damage if you get him built up, of course, right? You get him hit enough times. He's going to have max ki multiplier, along with the fact that the active skill has triggered the additional super attack. He's hitting insanely hard. Assuming, I don't want to assume this, goodness, why would I say assuming? But if you have the Scouter, that allows you to manipulate so much in the course of the battle. And so things like that, along with the extra ki, lets you help figure out what you want to do rotation wise, how you want to handle that battle. It would be late in the battle, but on the teams with the LRs that he has, I think it was fair for me to rank him the way I did for just this section. He gets that additional 50% buff. He's going to hit so hard, man. It's so easy for him to get that 24 ki on the rotation. He gets his active skill off, man. He's incredible with that turn. So yes, that's where I had this guy ranked at. That's pretty much all I've got for the active skill section. I think, let me know if you guys, I want to see how you guys look at the game. For people that, maybe they just use these units a lot more than I do, let me see how you guys feel about how I have the active skills ranked. But I kept Coolers above Goku's because I think the heal is going to be a swing factor in a lot of fights depending on how you're set up, and I think it's big for what he does. The rest of them, I don't think I have to explain myself. Maybe if you want me to rank Gohan a level higher, I could. But I mean, crit is just, it was warranted to have his crit over Gohan super effective. And you saw I just bumped Omega up a level. Alright guys, now we're on to the link set. This one is not really that hard. Once, like, you're gonna understand where I'm coming from once I say it. What I try to do for the link set and ranking them on the tier list is, how many partners do you, the priority is how many really good partners do you have? And when I say really good, I mean, yes, whether they share like 5, 6, and 7 links with you, but also, like, are they actually some of the better units in the game, or are they just really old, TURs and LRs that are washed nowadays? I was trying to make sure I avoided overrating things like that. If you don't have that many 5s, 6s, and 7 partners, do you have a lot of really good 3 and 4 partners? And then 3, of course, being what is arguably the most important. Are they actually on your teams? Like, do they actually apply to you? And so now you guys get where I'm coming from with that. In the SS tier, you see, whoa, this is crazy. All right, that is wildin'. As you guys see in the SS tier, I have the 2 Carnival Gokus. They literally have the same link set. I'm not about to, like, I just show you that I'm not a madman. They have that same Super Saiyan. It's the exact same link set. So why would I care to trip over one if the other one, like, I don't care. Okay. So with that being understood, they're partners. I figured you could just rank them the same way. Now, this is the difference, is the teams they're on. So certain units that are on like movie heroes and things like that, you're going to cater more towards Tech Carnival Goku. If they're on Battle of Wits, like say Vegetos and things like that, you're going to cater towards the STR Carnival Goku. So that's fine. Hachiat Goku. That's fine. for a baseline, being your 7 out of 7 partner would be AGL Gohan is a fair shot. Like, and you help him so much because he wants to be with Super Saiyan Goku named units. So if and when he were to ever transform, that would be a massive, you know, thumbs up for you. That's what your role is at that point in the battle. But then you look at their 6s, and you look at units like the the Super Saiyan 3, SS3, and SS2 Goku and Vegeta, the Buu rivals. You look at the physical 3 years isn't super impressive. The STR Goku and Gohan isn't super impressive, but it's just the standard Goku-esque link set. Vegeta and Trunks, the 7-year gods, I know a lot of you guys still use them. The 5-year Gogeta. Gohan and Goten with this guy also wanna be near a Goku so that they can do their thing. You got the 8-year standby Vegeta. Once he goes into standby mode, he can do a lot of damage, so you do want to have him with a fair amount of links. You got this Battle of Gods Vegeta, like all of these units are on Pure Saiyan, or like I said, Movie Heroes or Battle of Wits or something like that, right? Then you scroll down and look at the 4s, like all you guys know how crazy a link set that has Super Saiyan Kamehameha, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power automatically is going to be. I don't have to explain that one too much more. Now, when you go over to Cooler, I felt like with Cooler, how many partners he has made perfect sense for why I would rank him the way I ranked him. So when you have him next to STR Cooler, Full Power Frieza is outdated at this point, but no, this is how I looked at it. Cooler is more of a longevity one. No matter what you do, if a Frieza unit drops that has big bad bosses, or for that matter, really, just a Terrifying Conqueror that has big bad bosses, Cooler is going to be there for them link-wise. Even if you're floating Cooler, he's in slot 3, which is really, I think, an underrated aspect of playing and cohesiveness on teams, cohesion, is that you can have the floater activate those extra links. Like I know it sounds so simple, right? But the fact that you can actually do that for units that want to be in slot 2, such as STR LR Cooler, such as arguably, well, for sure, STR TUR Cooler, Turles is easy A. He's probably going to be a slot 2 unit. I can't see him being a slot 1 unit. So they have teams like Movie Bosses, Terrifying Conquerors. You guys know how it goes, all right? And then the Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, Legendary combination is always going to work out for him. But just for him around his family, literally him and his brother, and I guess his dad or whatever, it's always going to work. It's just always going to work. Now, Omega, I bumped down because while he does have the Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Powered link, you see, like, we're not working with too much here. What are you doing with Janemba? Janemba is not a valid. People don't even like Janemba, right? Like, Janemba is one of the more he's a controversial unit his entire lifespan, but now he's officially like down a lot of tiers, right? So it's not that serious. But you look at the units that are actually on GT bosses or on 200% leads that would want to be next to Omega, it's pretty much just STR Super 17, Tech Sin. I don't know why you would be using Physical Sin. I guess LR Super 17, Nova and Ice. Oh my gosh, I almost threw up saying that to you guys. But then when you get to his 3s, that's when he's with all the GT LRs, right? You got him next to the 7 years, the 8 years, the full power Goku. You know he's going to be with Coolers because they, like, in theory, because they have Big Bad Bosses, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. So all of those units start to pop up. But units like Turles and like Frieza units, you're not quite there with Omega. So maybe one day, depending on if we get a baby that leads like Transformation Boost and I guess GT bosses, maybe, you know, and then gives a 30% to whatever else, we can make that team come together. But at the moment in time, I'm simply putting him here off of the fact that his link set is really, really good, but the way you want to run Omega, you're not going to see those links, and the categories he's on, you're not going to see. Let me make sure I say this correctly. You can see his links, but his top end linking partners, the units you're running on his team that are also extreme class units so that you can get big bad bosses, are not there for him. So you might have 4 links active with like the 8-year LRs, but none of those links are going to be Fierce Battle. Fierce Battle is a Fierce Battle. Big bad bosses. None of those links are going to be big bad bosses. I'm sorry. And at the end of the day, big bad bosses is literally the best link in the game. It is the best link in the game. It's not up for debate. Big Bad Bosses at link level 10 is the best link in the entire game. And you got Goku here. I kept Goku over Gohan because of the fact that, like I said, just being a Goku, he's going to always have that one up. It can't be helped. So where did I put this guy? Where did I put this guy? There. No, this is Gohan's Goku. Come on, bro. Please, bro. You're embarrassing me in front of company. What am I looking at? Now the site is lagging. Blue hell. Oh my gosh. All right, finally. Now, physical ultimate Gohan, he gets a lot of flack. For him to be a good partner for you isn't like the worst thing ever. And of course, him and Gohan link very well. My thing is, he doesn't have a single unit in the game that shares 6 and or 7 links with him. That's a massive problem for me. That really pisses me off. But then you look at all his forward. I was going to keep him lower. I was going to put him on the level with Gohan. You look at all these 4s, and these are units you can run with him. They might not be on his Turtle School lead, but they're definitely the type of units you can run on the Pure Saiyan and Power of Wishes, like that physical Godku lead. You can run them on teams like that and take advantage of what they do. You look at the 3s, the other Carnival Gokus are on here, the 5-year fusions are on here, Gohan and Goten are once again on here, even though things like the Super Saiyan, like, you know, those links and those conditions and whatever else Gohan and Goten may want from him, he can't quite do for them, right? So I would imagine that rotation is going to be weird in terms of key. 23 World Tournament Goku is here, but this is his standby. Remember, it's considered different, but he's not, but you're not going to be... You're not keeping them as a rotation. You're not doing that. Okay, so I just want to make sure things like that are understood. A physical Kid Goku, we don't talk about him anymore, but he's still so insanely good, man. He just wants the youth buff or the Dragon Ball Sagas buff, and then he'll come right back into the picture. He'll be right back in motion. But that, and then Gohan, like, listen, with Gohan, it's not like a slight or anything, but you look at these units, barely any 5s, which the other one is literally, like I said, is Carnival Goku. The Tree of Might Goku, I don't see what you would be doing with those two. And then the 4s are like look at this roster of 4s. You're not running any of these with Gohan unless you're running this guy with Gohan. This is one of the harder units in the game to get at the moment, right? Like, just to get him into the revival so that you can take advantage of that. And now he's not exactly holding up super duper well. He's just he was great at the time. He was just hard to get. And then you scroll down to the 3s, and now it's like, this is just like, why would I keep him on the same tier as Goku? It wouldn't make sense for me to keep him on the same tier as Goku. But that's enough. That's enough of this section. You guys see what my mindset is. Let me know if you guys disagree. On to the next. Now, the final section before I give you guys what I think is the Carnival LR list from best to worst or worst to best, whatever. We have the categories. Now, if you see in the section, I changed, instead of lettering typings, we went by the leader skills that they're on, the actual categories they're on, and how many of those are 200%ers. So in parentheses, I have the 200%ers. At the very bottom, you see Omega Shenron is on 8 categories, and this includes the Carnival lead. This includes their own team as one of the 200% leads. Omega Shenron is technically on 5, including his own, but like... Be for real, bro. Yo, he's on 1, bro. We're running him on GT bosses and GT bosses alone. All right, so technically he's on 5 200% leads. I suppose you might, not really, but I'm just spitballing. You might wanna, you're not doing it, bro. I can't see how you're doing it and not getting frustrated, but he is on the 8-year STR GT Rivals 200% lead. Matter of fact, I have it here. I don't know where there it is. Matter of fact, close this out. Let me just show you guys, because it pisses me off to explain it, and I feel like people might not understand what I mean when I say that these guys are like this. So if I pull them all up, let's start with Omega. Omega is on teams. Look at these. He's on, you know, powerful comeback for the Carnival Goku team. You're running him around a whole bunch of non-GT bosses. Same goes for World Tournament. I don't even know, him being on the full power team is cool. I don't have to spell it out for you guys. And then of course he's on Transformation Boost. Like I said, you can't even really do it. Omega cannot be Omega if he's on teams like this. So he's pretty much on 200% lead being his own. Let me just pull up the rest of these while I tell you guys. And then Gohan is only on 2, his lead, and then Dragon Ball Super Gohan's lead. Like those are 2 really, actually I think those are 2 underrated teams. Not the Bond of Master and Disciple team isn't overly, hated on, but I'd say Gohan's team is actually really solid. It's just people don't like Gohan, so they take it out on his leader skill, and I get that. I do get it, but Gohan, you see, I had him fairly low. He was not high at all. Where did I have this guy? Oh, he was on the 3rd to last tier. Cooler. The reason I said for Cooler that I'm going to keep him where he was at is because he is on 11 teams. But like I said, I value the teams Gohan can run more than I do it for Cooler's at the moment. It's not like Cooler's way behind, but like you're not running him on the Gamma leads. Not normally, right? You still want the big bad bosses-esque leads. You'd have to form that team very bizarrely to make that fully function. And then if you look at Carnival Goku's lead, once again, you want big bad bosses. Now that's either one of these. I'm sure you could find a way to get cooler big bad bosses, and you guys can go to and be like, hey, look what I did. I don't know why you're talking like he doesn't have this partner. I know how this goes in the comment section. Believe me, I've seen this many a times. Okay, but at the end of the day, you get what my idea is. The fact that you will be running 2 of Gamma 1 or 2 Gamma 1 is a support, so it's not as abrasive, but like 2 of the Tech Carnival Goku, it's only going to lead to frustration eventually. You're going to start to feel the ramifications of Cooler not being surrounded by a whole bunch of his family. Cooler, if I remember, didn't I look at this early? Cooler, if I remember correctly, is one of the only, it's him, Omega. Who else is on Powerful Comeback that's a villain? And the Revival Goku. Okay, the Revival Vegeta Goku. That's 3 Extreme Class units. Do we really have to argue about why I have Cooler ranked the way he did? I should have put in parentheses that he really only has 200% lead, but I'm just messing around with him. Now, skipping over to Goku, I want to, it's just a factor. I want to keep talking about how he gives the 2 key 50% defense to Superclass because that's all the types of teams he's on. So he is on the other AGL Carnival Goku's lead. He's on Yamcha's 200% lead. He's on Bardock's 200% lead. All of those units benefit from having him around. Goku, I told you guys what level of defense he can get when you get, especially when you get 50% support around. Yamcha is a unit where when he does get tagged, it can be pretty bad. So I would imagine having Goku on the team can alleviate some of that. Bardock wants a Goku on the team to trigger his intro animation and things like that. So I gave him a bit of a nod there versus into Gohan. So things like that make sense. And of course his own team, we went over what his category roster looks like. I think you guys will respect that one, I would imagine. Matter of fact, hold up, let me just put in perspective how crazy this is, because I just want to say, man, this Tech Carnival Goku, like, damn, he's got a lot of 200% leads. He got mad 200s, bro, because it's insane, man. If you look at him versus the rest of these, it's a gap. It's not like a couple off, it's a gap. AGL Carnival Goku, he's on good teams. He's on very good teams, actually. And I don't want to, what is with these weird notifications today? He's on some really, really good teams. He is not the type of unit where it's like you bring him on a team and the team gets worse. I would imagine he'd have to get no build up. He wouldn't be able to attack. It'd be a really long fight, and then his guard wears off and he's super exposed after not doing 18 keys. So he makes all of these teams better just by being available on them while being a phenomenal tank. One of the best defensive units in the game when he has his ability. Well, not just in general, he's just a period. Like, he's one of the best defensive units in the game, period. And he makes all of these types of teams better as a 200% unit. Remember, when you're on the abilities like the standbys for the 8-year GT rivals and you work with them, bro, there's so much you can do. There's just so much you can do because this is really just 2 units. It's 2 completely different units, all while having the revive. It's madness, bro. It's madness. Now, this unit standby into Majub, full power Gokus, He gives defense for the 2 turns, and Goku would benefit massively from that. I don't have to explain to you why Godku's orb changing would be really good, or why Godku in general is just really freaking good. I saw someone have Godku at like the 7th or 8th best TUR in the game right now, not including EZAs. I told y'all, man, I try not to involve myself in these Twitter spats, but like, damn, that was one of the dumber things I've seen in a while. It really pissed me off to look at a tier list that was built like that, but I just let it go. Now, like I said, Tech Carnival Goku is on a plethora of 200% leads, almost all of which he works, because if you look at the Gamma leads, you know, being on movie heroes, he wants to be on teams like that in a way. I wouldn't say he has to be. He's just a Super Saiyan unit, but of course, he's a unit from a movie, so it makes sense that he would want to be around other movie heroes in some senses. The movie hero team is just so well crafted that with the Gammas being the key supports that they have, the offense defense supports they have, it makes it so that the Saiyan units, even the ones that are on in slot 3, they just work. So Goku works just like the AGL Turtle School Goku. He works on all of these teams. Like the Gammas are so good, and I keep saying they're gonna age so well. We need to put in perspective that they're approximately, at the time of me thinking of it, they're what, 10 months old now, or is it 11? They're 10 months old, I think. They are still able to dominate all types of content. Gamma 2 can get hurt, yeah, if you catch him, but you have to catch him, bro. You have to. Otherwise, he's double-digit tanking just about any normal in the game, bro. It's bad. I really like these guys, and I like what they do for all their Saiyan, you know, partners on these teams. Now, finally, here we are, and this is my final ranking. This is what you guys have been waiting for, you know. Got to give myself a drum roll and whatnot. The best Carnival LRs in the game at the moment of this video, from best to worst. At the bottom, I have Cooler. I think it's weird to say that Cooler is the worst because I like him. I don't think he's the best, obviously, but I do think I like him the most. His animations and his categories and the teams, and the fact that I value villains more than superclass units because it ends up mattering more for the villain landscape when a unit like Cooler exists. But I mean, it's fair. Like, he's definitely, it's either him or Carnival Goku, and I'm comfortable leaving Cooler at the bottom slot. Carnival Tech Goku is a unit where he's losing relevance because of the way his revive works and the way his guard works and the way certain abilities of his works, and he wants to be able to be in slot 1 to get the hit, to get that extra defense. There's certain things about him that can get you killed. The STR Carnival Goku, I felt like the same way about him. He actually can get one, bro, I'm telling y'all, he can get one shot and you will blow your whole run on like turn 5 or 6 after this guy gets packed up. If he's not type advantage, type neutral, or type, especially of course type dis, he can get popped, bro. He can get popped, bro. Like they're putting shells in, bro. So I don't want to put him too high. But I do think he's less of a liability. Like I always keep saying, he is a support unit. I have to give him credit for that. The link set is there. The teams are there. The mitigation he does have is there. You're never going to get the scouter. But I would imagine if you did get the scouter, you have no real excuse to lose unless you're like super low on HP already. It'd be really weird for you to lose with the scouter up after taking those 10 attacks. But I do think the scouter is arguably the most potent ability in the game. I mean, that or dodge. Well, dodge literally is, but it depends on if it's like, you know, what the rate is for dodge. But a scouter is a scouter. You're going to have a scouter once you lock it in. And then you got things like Omega Shenron. Omega Shenron double-digit tanking any given boss in the game as long as you fulfill his conditions. Every single boss in the game, Omega can tank. Maybe not literally double digits. He can tank them all. I have no issues with Omega defensively if he's on the GT boss's team. I have to value that. I have to say that. He frustrates me. And I think his team is bad. It's not even him. That's the thing. It's not actually Omega. It's his team. So if Omega were to get this Dokkan Fest baby that we're praying comes through, or he gets like GT bosses buffs, whatever that form might be, things like that completely change what we're going to view Omega as, because he double digit tanks every single thing that can come your way. unkillable. Omega is unkillable. Even if Omega doesn't, you know, get a whole bunch of rainbow orbs, he's still fairly defensive. And, you know, his revival, if it was able to activate on that turn, are you really going to talk crazy to him? Because now you're healing, now you're doing your thing, now all you did was extend the fight and make Omega stronger. I have to give him credit for things like that, especially over those lower 3 carnivals. Gohan is exceptional in all types of content. I mean, like I said, Super Battle Road, he has the AoE. If you look at the way he handles red zone content, he can be a bit frustrating, but he's most certainly one of the better difficult content units in the entire game. You cannot name me, I want to say 10, but I'm going to be nice and say 15. I don't feel like you can, maybe you can say 20, all right? So I'll make it broader just so that you guys can't get at me in that comment section. Gohan is one of the 20 best units to take into any random stage. I drop you in any difficult content, matter of fact, any stage in the game. But like any red zone, any shadow dragon, any infinite Dragon Ball history, any collection of epic battles, anything like that. If I drop Gohan in there on whatever turn it might be, I can trust that he'll make it through the fight and he would not be the reason we die. I'm very comfortable saying that. You can't find 20 units that can do what I just said, be dropped in any type of environment and survive. His ability to tank defensively is so good. It's so amazing, man. I really like that guy. He doesn't get love, but he most certainly should never be hated on. I mean, there's not too much I gotta say about that guy. And then Goku is like, what? Can I end the video? Like, can I end this, please? I feel like we're done here. It is the Young King Hitman. Okay, let me be for real though. Goku, his guard, his healing, his ability to survive KO attacks isn't that important. You're not really going to take advantage of that, but like his countering, his teams, his leader skill is the best. His super attack effects are really good. His active skill gives him a massive amount of damage. I can't remember if I mentioned it yet or not, but that Goku, STR Goku and Int Gohan, their active skills, the crit, and then the fact that Gohan's ability to maybe quadruple super, it's rare, right? But he can quadruple super. He'd be super effective against all types, all while having that active skill. It's madness, bro. It can be madness on whatever turn it is. So all while he's stacking, remember. So don't underrate Gohan's offense later in fights. He can get rolling. But that's all I've got for you guys. It is the Young King Hitman. I enjoyed making this video a lot. If you guys did enjoy it, the only way I'll know is by you guys liking or commenting your thoughts. I'm sure I'm gonna get flack if you guys, some of you guys even make it this far, but I appreciate you nonetheless. It is me, man, and Hitman is off this.